I thought this might be a tough one. But hell. Alright, welcome back to the Exploring Zack Snyder review series. What we are looking at... Wrong way. Watchmen. Oh, man. When this came out, I remember seeing in the trailers for this and thinking, wow, that looks pretty cool. You know? Never heard of them before and stuff, but it's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I know from Supernatural, this might be good. Heck, don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me, alright? So, I have not watched this movie since I went to the theater to see it. This is the first time I bought this DVD. I never had it, other than now. So, for the first time in 12 years, or 11 years, I watched Watchmen. And I gotta say, it's a mixed bag for me, really. So what's the story? I forgot to do the story for 300, but it's Spartans fighting each other. The story is basically in a fictional version of 1985 where Richard Nixon is still president, which can't actually happen, but some fictional amendment was passed, the 22nd Amendment was never passed, and Richard Nixon is now able to run for a third term, and there's a lot of fictional things. We'll talk about that in my negatives, because that is one of my negatives, but there were masked heroes, and they've been outlawed due to an act that was passed. So now in 1985, stuff happens. Basically, there's a threat of nuclear war, and they want to stop it. They want to find a way to stop it, so they use Dr. Man. They want to use Dr. Manhattan, who is filled with nuclear power, I think, to stop it. But he's afraid they're going to get 99%, and what would the 1% do? It's a major conflict. But yeah, that's the basic story. There's heroes, stuff. It's not what I expected. See, I haven't seen this in 11 years. But I do remember when I went to see it and being extremely disappointed because I wanted a superhero movie. It's rated R, it can be done right, you can have some blood, some gore, you can have some good fighting, maybe some titties, stuff like that. But there's not a lot of crime fighting in this. In fact, halfway through the film, I dozed off. I could still hear things, but I dozed off a little bit, but I woke back up and took a shit, so then I was ready to watch the rest. And so, let's start with the positives. First and foremost, the acting. Snyder got some great actors in here. You got Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach, which is a great performance. You have, I lost it. Malin Ackerman, Billy Crudup, Matthew Good, Carla Gugino, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Patrick Wilson. Good cast. The cast is good and the performances are great. All around. Even though some of the character motivations are kind of iffy, and what they do with Rorschach, especially since he's doing, he's going, doing this investigation, he gets too close, and whoever, is behind it, frames him, he goes to prison for like 20 minutes in the film. It takes him out of it, but there's not a lot of superheroing in the film. But we'll get to my negatives. Another thing that I like in this is the style. It's out of Zack Snyder's movies, if you think 300 was very stylistic, this is the most stylistic Zack Snyder film, period. It has to be. I haven't seen the other, so far at least in this way. he was filming it. But I do like the style, the slow motion stuff. You know, certain things, certain people are falling out of windows. I do like the style, and I do like the kind of cinematography he has going. Just everything he's got going, and when things break or something, it's fantastic. Dialogue is all right. Anything else positive? Well, one particular scene that everyone remembers, especially now that the Snyder Cut is trending and he used the same song in the trailer for the Snyder Cut, is the scene where Night Owl and Silver Sable, whatever, Julie, Julie, whatever her name is, Lori, yeah, Night Owl and Lori, they're doing it on the Archie, he calls the thing, and they're doing it, and the song is playing, and the fire comes out to symbolize it, an orgasm, That's a great scene, and there's a lot of great scenes. The opening with "Times we are a changing," I like that. I like his use of music. That's another one. I like his use of music. It works very well. They play all along the Watchtower. It's great. Negatives. One of my major things, as I said, for me wanting to see this movie, is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Supernatural was in it. And they kill him off in the first scene. Can you imagine me wanting to see this movie for Jeffrey Dean Morgan and then killing him off? Not only that, but they try to make it justified by showing flashbacks that he's an asshole and a rapist and not a good guy. But that's not the actor, though. I came to see the actor. Say, oh, it's okay we killed him off because this guy's a bastard. And they make you think that he raped Laurie's mother, and that's what she became of. But then it's revealed later in the film that they actually hooked up after that. He never actually raped her because they show him getting, someone coming in and interfering, and so, yeah, he never actually raped her. And then we follow Rorschach. It's another negative. We follow Rorschach for most of the film, and I actually forgot this part. I'm sitting there watching this in the end of the film, and I forgot this part. Rorschach gets killed at the end of this because he's gonna go tell people what happened, the truth behind what's going on, and Dr. Manhattan can't let him do that, so he kills him. And I forgot about that part. 11 fucking years. And because I'm like, okay, I remember this now. Just like 11 years ago. Oh, he's gone, but I like Rorschach, that's cool. He dies too. And the twist, I'm putting this in my negatives, because while the twist is a decent one, I don't like how they do it. So, in this fictionalized version of historical events, Nixon is still president. Reagan, who was president when I was born, has never run for president. And there's fictionalized stuff. And so Ozymandias, who's one of the Watchmen, is actually the villain and uses a version of Dr. Manhattan's powers to kill millions, so that people will back off from the nuclear holocaust that's going to happen. A nuclear holocaust that you wrote in here so that this would be the only course of action. You wrote yourself into a corner with this nuclear holocaust, fictionalized. I mean, yeah, back in the 80s, America was, the world was very much in that high stakes, where are we going to get it? But you fictionalize events so much, taking out certain events, put in new ones so much that the only course of action is for Ozymandias to do this. And he does this, and it causes world peace. But that's a negative because it's bullshit. You think that a few nuclear explosions are going to cause people to back off. They're going to piss people off to the point where it's going to get worse, not better. You know? It's all very collusion. And then he doesn't die. He gets away with it. And I don't know. It's all very meh to me. This movie didn't do nothing to me. And then my final negative, it's too fucking long. 2 hours and 41 minutes. I'm sitting here watching this and I'm going, how far am I into this? How long is this? And I checked it. 2 hours and 41 minutes. And there's even a director's cut with 24 more minutes. Almost 3 hours long. Maybe even 3 hours long. Over 3 hours long. Too fucking long to me to sit and watch this movie. That's why I had to get up and... That's why I almost fell asleep, man. I had to get up and take a shit, for God's sake. But I don't hate this movie. I just dislike it. And I see why people... I see now why people got upset when Zack Snyder was announced as directing Man of Steel. Because we could have gotten this style of Superman. And I'm glad we didn't. I'm giving it a 5. Because there are some things I still like. The style and everything. And the acting is all around good. But it's getting a 5. So what are your thoughts on Watchmen in the comments below? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.